is when it's right on top of our dome, we tend to lose the radar returns for just a split second. That'll come back, but trust me, there is a lot of activity right there in the northwestern quadrant there in and around the Sanford area. And what I'm going to do here is stop the loop and take a look at the velocity product, because this is important. There's that little couplet right there. If I'm going to go to the street level there's Lake Monroe. There's Uppsala Road. That right there, to me, is if there's going to be a tornado, it's going to be right in that little corridor. We got gate-to-gate wind shear there now of nearly 90 miles an hour, and that is all moving off towards the east. So if you're in Sanford, if you're on West 5th Street, if you're near Celery Avenue, you've got about 5 minutes to get in the lowest level of your home before this potential thunderstorm that is showing rotation moves into your area. Now, that little signature right there is some of the software that we use to highlight when we have severe weather and rotation in a thunderstorm. So that, again, a clear indication as to what's going on with that particular thunderstorm. Let's go back over towards Links 1 here for a second. I want to take a look at a different product here. One of the things we like to use when we go back and forth is the gate-to-gate wind shear. And this is the winds right now that we're pinging just to the west of Sanford. So that's 83-mile-an-hour winds right there in and around the city and just to the west of Sanford moving on in. One of the things we also like to look at is the debris. Now, we can use that with the correlation coefficient product right there, and it looks like there may be a little bit of debris, something within that thunderstorm. It could be ice or it could be debris up within the cloud right there in and around the Sanford area. That we're going to continue to watch. A different product that I like to use is what's called the shear rate. And when you look at the shear rate here, look at the south side of Sanford. Now getting in close to 46. That is where the strongest winds right now are beginning to move off towards the east, maybe the east-southeast of the Sanford area. There's the reflectivity product one more time, and that is a very large ball of energy. Here's the problem, folks, with this. When you get a thunderstorm with incredibly heavy rainfall rates like we're seeing right now, you don't know what's in there. You think it's just wind and very heavy rain, but we are seeing some broad rotation now just to the southwest of Sanford, in and around Lake Mary. And this is all, again, pivoting rapidly to the east-northeast. Let me go ahead and show you the loop here of the velocity product. Again, there's 46. There's Lake Mary. Again, this is not a situation where you want to be trying to be a hero, trying to film some video to get your social media pictures and video up tonight. This is not a situation you want to do that. There's Country Club Manor. And I got to ping some winds here. Country Club Manor, Old Lake Mary Road right there, Druid Park. We got gate-to-gate wind shear now, still right around 80, 85 miles an hour. Out ahead of it, Indian Mound Village, back towards Beck Hammock, East 2nd Street, down towards Flora Heights. Folks, that is where the worst of the wind is ongoing right now. Within this thunderstorm. One of the other things we'll look at is, again, up in here, I'm going to kind of just kind of draw a little area. We've been watching this highlighted area. So the rotation's down here, but the winds today are from the south and west. So either that's ice, we haven't seen a whole lot of hail today, or it's debris. So it's one or the other, but it's on the east side of Sanford, and that's what we're going to be watching now as it continues to build up closer towards Osteen. Remember, this tornado warning now, folks, is in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Back to that reflectivity product. One of the things I like to do is you take a look for an inflow notch. And a lot of times when you have tornadoes, you look for this. And we have that on this particular feature. And this is going right towards Indian Mound Village Road, again, and then en route potentially towards Osteen, just north of the Lake Jessup area. And I don't know if we have any cameras in that area, if we have a crew in that area. I-4, obviously, off towards the west. You got the 417 right there. We may have a couple of DOT cameras in that vicinity. But that right there, to me, is a clear-cut signature that we have inflow into this thunderstorm, and that's a big part of the reason why we've pulled this tornado warning for northern sections here of Seminole County this evening. There's Cameron City, Beck Hammock, Indian Village. Again, just to mention a couple of locations right there. Back towards WSI here for a second. Now we're getting clear-cut indication that we have rotation right now. Heathrow, Sanford right there. So we have a DOT near near Heathrow that we're going to kind of highlight there, and 417 at the Heathrow area there, kind of where I-4 and the 417 come together. That's pretty darn close to where we're seeing this rotation right now on our product. So I appreciate the guys in the back grabbing that. Here's our own radar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take off some of these sweeping icons here just to make it a little bit easier for you guys at home to see what's going on. Right there is the strongest winds. That is right over the Sanford area right now, getting back towards Midway. And you can clearly see here, folks, that little spin just to the south of Celery Avenue on the southern reaches here, trying to build up towards the east-northeast in this general vicinity. The overall rotation is moving in that general vicinity, and if we were to go ahead and kind of put a fan over this particular area, you can see there's Midway, 735. Osteen, right around 745, 750. In Kalamazoo, just outside of that tornado-warned area between about 745 and 8 o'clock. Again, a very impressive-looking storm here. Clear-cut rotation, both mid-level and now potentially at the surface. Not seeing anything via what we use in-house to see if there's any storm reports just yet. But again, a very dangerous storm. We want you to take cover immediately in this area. The interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid those windows. These are common sense type things that we always like to remind folks to do when we're in these types of situations. And that's currently what we're seeing right now. Now, the trend here has not changed. The rotation there still ongoing. Now approaching Midway, right on top of Midway, approaching Osteen. Again, this tornado warned cell will be with us here until 8 o'clock. If things do not change, we'll have to watch Farmtown and Kalamazoo very, very carefully going forward. Again, not seeing a hail core. So when you don't see a hail core and you've got an inflow notch like that, there's a very, very good chance that you can have a rotation coming down to the ground, what we call a tornado. So that's, again, what we're looking at right there. I'm in street level here. I want to just kind of get down towards Sanford. There's Midway. There's Celery Avenue. Again, moving off towards the east-northeast here at about 20 miles an hour. Very fast-moving, rotating thunderstorm. There's Celery Avenue. There's the city of Sanford. Again, earlier we were pinging 80, 85-mile-an-hour winds. Right now we've got about 60, 65, maybe 70-mile-an-hour winds right over Celery Avenue, approaching Midway on the west side of the city there. And again, one of the things that we're going to be watching again going forward is the overall spin. How long is this going to hold itself together? And will there need to be another tornado warning for the city of Kalamazoo going forward? And that's what we're going to be watching. But there's the inflow notch. Again, I'm going back and forth between our radar. We have to do that tonight because that nasty line of storms that we showed you at the end of the 7 o'clock broadcast was right over our radar. So that basically renders our radar down until it passes our radar dome, and then we can get right back on with our radar. Because we like our radar because it's very high quality. And not that the Weather Service radars aren't very high quality, but you want to cover a tornado warning with the closest radar, and ours is the closest radar. It's as simple as that. So there's your notch. It's right there, right over the city of Sanford. I'm going back and forth. There's our EEC radar. There's the Melbourne radar. And when you see every radar with that green and red coupled together, there's a very good chance that you have a rotating thunderstorm. Whether it's at the ground or not, too early to tell. We don't have any ground confirmation right now. I'm actually looking at some of the reports coming in from our weather watchers, emergency managers, and nobody's saying that they've seen a tornado. I'm not seeing any reports of any damage just yet, thankfully, so that's at least some good news. All right, I want to go back over to our Barron system here, and I want to take a look at our shear rate. And one of the other things I like to look at is what's going on with the shear. Is there red getting white, or is it red going green? In this case, the shear appears to be weakening. So this storm may have peaked in intensity, but don't be fooled by that. You still have the rotation there. So Indian Mound Village, there's Back Hammock, Cameron City, there's Lake Jessup there towards the end. There's your tornado warning towards the end of the loop. Again, getting, again, very, very close to Osteen, all lifting off towards the east-northeast. The reflectivity product shows we don't have that notch anymore. So that is certainly some good news. You had that notch right there, right over Sanford a short time ago, but now I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So that notch is filling in, and that's what you want to see, because it's not allowing for the air to come into the thunderstorm and help rotate those clouds. So that to me appears to be one of the good signs we're seeing here with the last two images that have come in to our radar system here. So that's some good news. All right, so there's that. The other thing I want to take a look at is the Barron button, and a lot of times what we look at is for hail cores. Now, we don't have a tremendous hail core with this, and the hail cores that we do have here, they're showing signs of weakening. So I like the trends that I'm seeing on a couple of different products we use, whether it's the impact tracker for hail, whether it's the velocity product for the winds coming down, which we just showed you, and last but not least, that inflow notch that we had at the beginning when the tornado warning was issued is now filling in and no longer there. You can see it. I'll stop the loop right here. I'm going to clear this for you, and I'm just going to walk it back. I'm just going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. That's filled in. I'm going to back this up here just a second. And you're going to see there, right there, there's your inflow notch. And you can see how it's fallen apart. It's kind of all becoming one main line. We don't have that notch. Sanford's filled in, and you got that main line. And once you lose that, it becomes more straight line winds. And that, I believe, is what we're beginning to see. All right, let's go back to WSI. And take a look at a different perspective here. There's a look now at, again, the winds. I'm going to kind of give an update on the winds for folks here near Midway, and then just to the south and north and east there of Sanford. So 34-29. So definitely, folks, we are going in the right direction. The winds are coming on down. We still have that couplet, but it's not as intense as it was earlier. And in fact, there's a brand new image right there that you saw live that is continuing here to move steadily towards the east-northeast here at about 20 miles an hour. So again, the winds are coming on down. Some good news there. Again, if you're just getting home, again, this tornado warning is in effect, folks, until 8 o'clock this evening. It certainly looks like we are now going in the right direction with this particular rotating thunderstorm. Again, signs are showing that it's weakening. The inflow notch no longer there. Winds are coming down. Never had the hail core right there. And those are some of the key things we look at when we're running the radar in times like this. But again, a nasty line of storms right through Deltona. Sanford, I'm not sure if we have our HD cam facing north, guys, but that would be a great shot from our HD camera facing north towards the Maitland Square. Again, from time to time, you can see that little red rotating marker right there. That is our indicator for when there is rotation within a thunderstorm, whether it's way up top, whether it's the middle of the storm, or down to the surface. And I want to make it very clear, we have no confirmation of anything on the ground. We had a tornado warning. We still have the tornado warning, and it still remains in effect now until 8 o'clock and getting ready to push into southern Volusia County. Closing in on Deltona, closing in on the east side, just to the north and west of Geneva. I'll go ahead and loop this, and you can see what's been going on right there. There's that inflow notch filling in as it went right over Sanford and is now building off towards the east. You take a look at the velocity product here. It's a really good wind, or some very good wind, in fact, right along and just east of the Sanford area. But we don't have what we had earlier, that really tight couplet. And again, it certainly looks like it's again, going in the right direction from the respect of it not being needed to be tornado warned on once it moves to the east. Now, if you've been in Florida long enough, you know that things kind of go through different stages, and sometimes they pulse down, sometimes they pulse back up. So we're not giving you all clear here. What we're saying is that we're going in the right direction and that we're beginning to see signs of a thunderstorm that was rotating, showing signs of weakening. But there's some really good wind right there east of Sanford. And what I'm going to do is get it even closer here. There's Midway. That's East Lake Mary Boulevard. That is some really good wind right now along East Lake Mary Boulevard and 46, just to the east of the Midway area. And then another little broad couplet there near Doyle Road and west of Reed Ellis Road. Again, we're starting into a rural section here of northeastern Seminole County into southern Volusia County. But if you were to take a fan and kind of draw the area of interest for me right now, it would be in this corridor. So there's Osteen. There's Kalamazoo, Farmington, Cow Creek, Samsula. Between now and about 8:30, at the very least, there's going to be some significant wind coming into your area and kind of pivoting up towards the north and the east. Back over to Lynx 1 for a second. I've got a brand new skid there that I want to kind of highlight. You can see moving northeast here at about 18 miles an hour. The top of the thunderstorm today, about 46,500 feet. And again, moving off towards the north and east. Okay, so what just happened there? They issued a severe thunderstorm warning on top of the tornado warning. You saw that live on WESH. That's a clear indication that A, they agree that the storm is weakening, but B, there's still going to be a lot of wind outside of that tornado warned area. That would be for folks in Osteen, Kalamazoo, Farmington, Cow Creek, and Samsula. So once this cell gets out of that tornado warning, it moves up into and out of that severe thunderstorm warning. So, Stu, right now, there's a lot going on, but we're going in the right direction. I believe you have McNee on the phone.
Yeah, we have Dave McDaniel on the phone who lives in that Sanford Midway region. And, Dave, you have experienced this storm as it's come over your house. Tell us what you've heard and experienced since you've been at the house sheltering down.
Well, so I spent the last few minutes in the laundry room, if I'm being candid. Once I saw the radar images and heard Tony's explanation, we did not hesitate. We did not pass go. And my wife and I and the dog, we headed into the laundry room. And that's where we spent a good bit of time as we heard the rain come down very heavy. We've really had a light show here. The thunder and lightning has been intense. Now it appears it has moved past us. To give people an idea, we're a mile north of Orlando Sanford International Airport, so it sounds like from Tony's description, I was listening through the door of the laundry room, the storm has moved north and east of us. Right now I'm standing on my front porch. It is pouring. It is a deluge. And again, we got thunder and lightning all over the place, but no wind, virtually no wind at all. I would say it's virtually still. The rain is coming straight down, but it's coming down in buckets. We're very thankful to hear that the storm has moved fast, but certainly we hope that it's not going to cause issues for anyone else.
The tornado warning maybe moved past you, but you're still saying that heavy rain is coming down. That Midway area where you live, it doesn't take a lot for that zone to flood. How much rain do you think you've seen in the last 24 hours or just a couple hours from this storm?
Well, so we had a very small shower last night. It didn't really amount to much. The storm last night, even though it was intense for some people, it kind of went around us. We had rain for a few minutes. That was relatively steady, but nothing huge. Right now, though, it's coming down at a good rate. A guesstimate that if it kept going at this rate, it would be several inches an hour. It is raining extremely hard. And again, it's the thunder and lightning. I am in a corner of my front porch as far away from outdoors as I can get to still be able to see, just because there is a lot of lightning, and I've done enough over the years with people who have been struck by lightning to not fiddle with it.
Our reporter Dave McDaniel, who used to be our Seminole County Bureau reporter back when that was the Bureau, still kind of is at this moment. Dave, please be safe and continue to look after the wife, Julie, and the pup as well. Let's go back to Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi. Tony, we get that live picture from the 417 where you can see that light show that Dave was talking about just a mile or two from his house. And now we get the severe thunderstorm boxes popped around that tornado warning.
Yeah, and we see that a lot. This is nothing new. What's going on here, Stu, we've mentioned this once or twice already, is that a lot of times we look at the velocity product for the rotation, which we clearly had. There's no doubt about it. And the Weather Service did the right thing, made the call, got that out there as quick as possible. And so it's weakening. But what they do is they put a protective zone around that when they feel it's needed. And that's clearly what they're doing right now, because if you take a look at the velocity, the reflectivity product here, there's a big push of red there. That is that big burst of wind that we're talking about right now. And, as we've mentioned a couple times here, sometimes these storms pulse down, but they can pulse back up. And you have to watch that. And, you still got some really good wind here from Deltona back down towards the Midway area, where Dave was doing a great job of describing what was going on in his neck of the woods there. But the bottom line for me is you still have a lot of wind at the very least. You're looking at gate-to-gate winds here, 55, 60 miles an hour, and it's moving quickly. That's the other big catch for me today, is it's moving very, very quickly. And, Dave was talking about the rain, another great point. A lot of times when we have tornado warnings, meteorologists' biggest fear is that you have this wall of water and then you have a tornado embedded within it. You can't see it until it hits you. And so that's one of the things we always drive home in situations like this is take a look at the bigger picture. You're looking at 2.5 inches of rain per hour at that rate, and you're not going to see anything. It's a wall of water. We were at the back end of our 7 o'clock broadcast, and we were talking about it's coming down. It's pounding down outside right now. Again, when you can't see anything, the best course of action is do what Dave did. He got right in. He got down low, as we always ask our viewers to do, and that's the safest place. The bathroom, it's got the least amount of glass. It's got the most amount of 2x4s. It's fortified the most, and that's why we tell you to go to the bathroom in situations like this. So, again, we have that tornado warning here for another 15 minutes. Still got that broad rotation out there right now, but it's almost out of that tornado warned area, and it's going to get into southern Volusia County with a tremendous amount of wind. One of the other things I like to do is take a look at the shear, and if we can go back over to the links box, Micah, there real quick, and clear this out, you can see that the green area is shear. There's a lot of shear, but you go back to where Dave was, Sanford, East Lake Mary. You see the red there? It's not there anymore because that inflow notch that we had earlier when this thing was wrapping on up is no longer there. This is becoming more straight line, more of a straight line of wind that's coming on through. So we progressed from rotation to strong straight line winds, and that's what we're going to be dealing with now, probably until it moves off the coast of Volusia County, and it's moving pretty quick. In fact, if we take a look now, if we go back to our WSI box there real quick, at 25 miles an hour, I'm going to draw a little fan here. This 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oak Hill at 9 o'clock. This is offshore view. And this is going to hold together at 20 to 25 miles an hour. So likely to have, again, some damaging winds over towards Farmington, maybe towards Oak Hill, depending upon how this thing progresses along as it moves from west to east. But there's Tuliota. It's over you here in the next couple of minutes. Farmington, Cow Creek, Southmere, Scottsmore, maybe clipping you in the northern portions there of Brevard County, Oak Hill, and then back towards Shiloh, just to mention a few of the towns. Now, when we take a look at the velocity product here, and I'm going to zoom in really slow so I don't make folks at home dizzy, but there's Geneva. There's the 415. Dave is back in here, the Sanford area. Winds are only 20 miles an hour, but you get out ahead of it, and in it, you're looking at 34, 35, close to 40-mile-an-hour winds. Nowhere near as strong as it was, let's say, 20 minutes ago when that tornado warning just came back. So, Stu, a lot of wind, a lot of rain. We need to be careful, but we may have dodged a big-time bullet here.
We got to have those extra warnings up once again on things that you need to know in case of a severe storm. Go to the lowest part of your home, the place that you have no windows, maybe an interior bathroom or a closet where you can get away from that. Obviously, first floor, if you have a second floor option in your house. Avoid any windows. Don't open any doors. I know everyone wants to look outside, especially when they hear about a big storm coming their direction. But aside from tornado-type warnings, you also want to watch out for lightning in these situations. Get underneath something sturdy like a table. That's what they tell kids at school to make sure they can get under those desks. So if anything falls on top of you, if that house were to be hit by a tornado, you'll be protected from that. Cover yourself with a blanket. If you cannot get away from any glass, that's if you have a house with a lot of windows or you think you're going to be a window could or a glass could break inside of your restroom. If you're inside of that area or a closet, then put something over yourself so that way you're protected from that, and always protect your head as well. Remember, whenever we are in a tornado warning, you can find updates from our team of meteorologists online on our WESH 2 app if you lose power, on your phones directly, or you can follow them on social media as well. Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi has been tracking this since before 7:30. It's supposed to expire around 8 p.m. Tony, the people that are in Volusia County, how closely do they need to watch this system?
Listen, we've gone through this a million times. They know that storms pulse up, pulse down, pulse up, and again, until we see the actual winds really start coming down, you still need to be careful. So we need to be careful. They've come down from 55, 60 mile an hour, gate to gate combined 85 down to about 30 miles an hour. But when you look at this velocity product here real quick, and you still see these little areas within the whole embedded thing, you got to be careful. I mean, that's it's better to be safe than to be sorry. And then on top of that, you've got a flood advisory, you've got a tornado warning, you got a severe thunderstorm warning. It's just a complete mess right now. Northeastern Lake County, western Volusia County, northern Seminole County, just to the north side of Geneva. Geneva, you're next, by the way. Kalamazoo, there it is. It's right there. Now, I'm going to draw a little fan here one more time. I don't want to get too close in because I want you to be able to see some of the cities and some of the towns that are next to be hit. But that's that straight line. There's Geneva. Now we go to the east here, and you'll see Geneva, Farmtown, Cow Creek, and Pennachaw between now and about 8:25, 8:30. That's when the worst of the wind and the rain is going to come on in. Now, I want to go back to our debris tracker on links, and one of the things I want to show you is when we look at this loop here, you can see at the beginning, and I'm going to stop the loop. I want to take it back, and I want to show you what we're talking about. So there's Sanford. Right, there's the 417. Watch for a little yellowish orange ball to start developing right there near 46. There it is. You can see that for a quick minute or two, there could have been something on the ground, because when we see it like that, that is sometimes a signature of debris in a thunderstorm that's rotating. And you can clearly see the blue, the green, and the yellow. And then watch how quickly it falls apart as that inflow notch kind of falls apart. You know, for a thunderstorm, it's kind of like an L, and you need that air to come into it. But once the L kind of closes, you lose that inflow notch, and things begin to weaken, and that's the trend we're in right now. So for a quick second or two there, and I'll back it up, there's Sanford, there's 7:20, 7:30, right there, 7:30, 7:35. That's when we think this thing peaked, right about there. There may have been some debris with something that had formed within this thunderstorm while it was rotating. So kind of a wild night there. A live look in now towards the 417. Stu, you got a question?
I got a couple of reports coming from our friends over at the Sheriff's Office in Seminole County. Seeing a couple of reports of some flooding at 417 and International Parkway. That's where they got a lot of construction that's happening in that area. That could also mess with the drainage. In Westlake Mary, and they also had some flooding there as well. So they're still looking into those reports that are coming into the Sheriff's Office. But you can see from these images from the 417, Tony, just how hard it's still raining.
You know, and it almost looks like a tropical storm. The rain is sideways, continuous lightning. That's been the biggie here this evening with a lot of the storms, as it really started to come together once it got to the I-4 corridor. Just enough heating late in the day. There was actually an outflow boundary that collided with the sea breeze, and I think that's what agitated the weather right there up towards Seminole and then on into southern Volusia County. Let me go ahead and stop the loop here one more time. Let's go back over to WSI, guys. I'm going to kind of clear this out for folks at home. What I like to do is every new image just kind of reset things here and take a closer look at these ETAs along this line of showers and storms. And not to mention Ormond Beach and Daytona Beach, but right there, I mean, that's a pretty good looking thunderstorm as well, with some decent wind up towards Daytona Beach right now at about 30 miles an hour. So again, just one of the other things we have to kind of babysit when we're in severe weather mode. But there's your tornado warning within that severe thunderstorm warning. Now east of I-4, there again is the 415, and then of course you've got the 417. What I'm going to do one more time here, so you can see the coast, is just kind of put a line right here from Geneva to Chuliota, again moving east at about 20 miles an hour. So that would put it right about there. So there's your new times of arrival, and we do this every time we get a new image. Geneva now 7:57, Cow Creek 8:14, Pennachaw 8:21, South Mere at 8:39, Oak Hill at 8:56, and Mims, as this thing gets you from the southern side, right around 9 o'clock, if not sooner, because this is moving pretty quick. So again, moving very rapidly to the east. The big concern tonight is going to be the wind. The more I look at this, the better I feel about things not rotating anymore. In fact, that right there really says a lot. Look how that is really from a velocity product in a weakening mode. So that, again, the tornado warning does remain in effect for literally about another 4 minutes and 45 seconds. That will expire, and then it's all about the wind going forward until this moves off the coast. So what I've done there is I switched the velocity product from the Weather Service back to ours, because, again, we're the closest to it, and that's some good wind approaching Geneva right now, 25, 35, 40 miles an hour. Again, not as intense as earlier, but clearly still some strong straight-line winds coming through that part of Seminole County on into southern Volusia County, with eyes there potentially Scottsmore, Oak Hill, as this continues to build off towards the west. So again, I think we're past the peak here. That's the good news. The bad news is there's going to be a tremendous amount of rain and a lot of wind and a lot of lightning And we don't want you guys near those windows until the storm has exited your area. I think Dave McDaniel said it best. We didn't risk anything. We got in. We left the TV on so we can hear what was going on with the storm. Sanford International Airport. Stu, check this out. 67-mile-an-hour wind gust. When that cell came right over that airport. So most of the planes, I believe, up there are fairly large, more of the jet size. I don't believe they have the smaller.
Well, we saw earlier the plane that flipped over was up there, and that was before the worst of the storms came in. Speaking of Sanford Airport, remember Dave McDaniel lives about a mile from there. He sent us this video from where he was inside. You can see the flashing from the lightning that's going on there and the pouring down rain. My friend Emery Green, who lives about a mile away from Dave as well, said that they experience major flooding when they have any type of heavy rainfall in the Midway area. And to see this much rainfall back to back, it's really a lot for this area to deal with, Tony. And obviously you still got a lot of colors on that radar right now because it's not stopped, even though the tornado warning may be about to expire.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. You get a 50-mile-an-hour wind gust, let alone a 67, and you get 2 inches of rain. The ground's saturated from the last couple of days, so it's very easy to turn over some of those big Spanish oaks that we're famous for here in Central Florida. All right. Back to the rotation track here, guys, real quick on our Barron's Lynx box there. Again, we're going in the right direction now with our rotation tracker. Again, red being replaced with darker shades of green. And again, that means that the rotation is weakening, the storm is weakening itself, and we'll just have to contend with the strong gusty winds, which they themselves are coming down as well. There was that tight rotation there earlier. You can clearly see what's been going on right there. And in fact, if I ping the winds right now, I'd be surprised if we even get 30 miles an hour. Well, we'll give it a whirl, kind of see what's going on here. Yeah, so we're now down to 15 to 25 miles an hour on approach to I-95 there into southern portions there of Volusia and northern portions there of Brevard County. Look at all of that lightning. That is just amazing. In that area right there, 359 lightning strikes now within the last 15 to 20 minutes from Sanford to Lake Mary, back over towards Kalamazoo, Geneva, all building off to the east here at about 15 to 20 miles an hour. Stu?
You got about more than 1,000 people right now who are in the dark as well, and most of these, surprisingly enough, are just south of where the tornado warning was in the Maitland area because they got walloped with that big storm as well. Not a severe thunderstorm that popped up on the radar, but the heavy winds and strong rain is pretty widespread throughout most of the metro right now, Tom.
It is. So if we go back to the tornado warning on WSI-1, it's not very often that you get a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning, and a flood advisory. And we have all three of those right now. Again, that for Lake, Seminole, and Volusia County, that flood advisory is in effect until 9 o'clock. The tornado warning does expire here within a couple of minutes. But then we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and that does remain in effect until about 8:15. The buffer there will give us the time for these winds to continue to get back down to a safe level, safe speed, so to speak, right there. But I've been kind of going back and forth. I'm looking at all of the velocity products on all of the radars, ours, the terminal Doppler radar there at the OIA, down towards Melbourne, back towards Tampa Bay, and every single one is showing the same thing. That the winds are coming down, which is some fantastic news. That the winds are coming down. The rain, though, is going to be the big thing here. I want to show you these rain rates here. This is just amazing. It's here we are. It's the end of September, right? And this is a rainfall rate, folks, that you would get in the middle of the summer. 2.5, 3 inches of rain in a very, very, very short period of time, moving to the west at about 15 to 20 miles an hour. So, again, a lot going on tonight, but I do believe that the worst is now over. We're past sunset. The winds are coming down. You look behind the tornado warned area. Yeah, there's more rain, but there's nothing like what's been happening up there along the Seminole Volusia County line. So we have that working in our favor. About 30 seconds away now from this tornado warning being allowed to expire. Again, to that little wind icon there in the city of Sanford, indicating that we had a 67-mile-an-hour wind gust at the peak of this storm at the airport there. At right around 7:19, 7:20. So Farmington, Cow Creek, Pennachaw, Southmere, Scottsmore, you can see that that cell, that area of wind and rain, is going to be in your area between now and about 8:30 this evening. Then it'll lift off back towards the east. So another brand new flood advisory, Stu. We were just talking about all these flood advisories. There's a brand new one right there. Sanford, Longwood, Chulliota, Geneva, downtown Orlando, back towards Disney, Meadow Woods, Windermere. Again, this flood advisory is in effect through 9:30 this evening. 10 o'clock, check that, for Windermere, Orlando, just to the north of Meadow Woods, Hunters Creek area there. But again, very heavy rain. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give the folks in the back just a couple of seconds to kind of get us back on regular programming. We've lost that tornado warning. If you have video, and it's safe to now send it, we'd love to hear from you. Love to know what's going on in your area. If you live in and around the Sanford area, remember, we love getting video, but we never, ever want you to shoot video while something's going on. You heard what Dave said, and that's our message to you. Again, we love the video, but we don't want you ever filming video during something like that. It's just too dangerous, not worth it to get you 2 minutes of fame shooting video like that. So again, for me, to recap here, we've got multiple flood advisories, Stu. We have that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect here for about another 14 minutes across southern Volusia County. The news continues to get better. The winds continue to weaken on approach to I-95 as we get into mid-evening now here across Central Florida. We'll have a recap of tonight's activity. Any video we get, we'll let you know all about it tonight at 10 on the CW18 and again at 11 on WESH 2 News.